This is the BGG Climbers list for the week ending 2/9/2022. This list is put together every week by Michael Alexander. I'll include links in the description below if you want to take a look at it or subscribe to the list. So let's get into it. We'll start with number 11 this week. It's the crew Mission Deep Sea, which is skyrocketing up the list. It's already at 107, so probably in a week, I would expect this to be in the top 100. It's no surprise. I actually got a chance to play it for the first time this week. It's basically the crew. I like the some of the new feel of the game. I mean, I do kind of prefer the space theme, if there is a theme to this game, but the mechanisms work all the same, and I would say it's the only trick taking game I like. So, Crew Mission Deep Sea, number 11. Number 10 is Wonderlands War. So it looks like this is getting delivered to backers finally. There's been a lot of production delays in this game. I got a chance to play it at a convention very early in development, and it's a interesting take on bag building and push your luck. Like a lot of the games from Skybound, it's got a really good production. I haven't seen the final production, but I've seen all the the pictures. This is a game that I backed myself because I was very excited to see it, and that's interesting. I think some of these are my pictures actually. Yep, right there. So you can see these minis. This is like an early version of the miniatures, but the sculpts are all I think look real good. It's very I guess it brings out the theme of the whole Wonderlands War. I like the special abilities of the characters, and I like the bag building. At least the early version of it, I felt like played a little bit long at 4 players. But I think, after you know the game, I don't think this game's going to play very long. I think it's going to probably play within the time they expect. The reviews so far are really solid. It's already at even the early reviews. They had a version I think on Tabletop Simulator that you could play before it was released. And it looks like the first reviews are pretty solid, 8.87. I think we'll have to see how the retail release for this goes and everything to see how it does over the coming weeks. But that's Wonderland's War for 10. I'm very excited to get a chance to play this game. I'm really hoping my copy comes in soon. Number 9 is Tiny Epic Dungeons. So this game is not. I'm sort of a fan of the Tiny Epic games. I do like the fact that they pack a lot of game into a small box. I think that's a really cool thing to be doing. I think they bring a lot of, I guess, a lot of cool components, I would say, into these small boxes. Like, it's just incredible how they do it. Tiny Epic Dungeons is a cooperative dungeon crawler. I looked at backing this game when I think it was on Kickstarter, or maybe it was Game. I don't remember. But I just felt like I have too many dungeon crawler experiences that I still need to get to the table, and I didn't want to, bring another one into it. I do like the, how the minis look. I think it's going to do well. Most Tiny Epic games do pretty well, but also I don't think any are in the top 100, so I don't expect this one to be the one that finally makes it. So that is number 9, Tiny Epic Dungeons. Number 8, we saw last week, is Lord of the Rings, the card game revised core set. I saw there were some people complaining that it seems like these new revised editions are all getting their own entry onto the BGG, I guess, the list. I mean, I will say that, for a game this old that needed some updating, I think the original version of it was only 2 players. Now it's 4 players. It doesn't really bother me that there's a new entry or whatever. I think it does give it a chance to rise a little bit higher than just adding on to the existing entry. But, still has to sell a lot of copies and still has to get a lot of ratings to get in the top 100 nowadays. It's very, it takes, I think the crew mission Deep Sea down there, it's at like 4,000 ratings that are all very strong. That's maybe one of the fastest I've ever seen rise to the top 100. But as far as Lord of the Rings card game revised core set, I don't expect it to be in there. I think the game is a bit older, and I think that Arkham Horror, the card game, is largely become the cooperative game of choice for people. So this is number 8, Lord of the Rings, the card game, revised core set. Number 7 is Stelladixit Universe. So this game is I guess a Dixit style game, or a new version of it. The same great art. Obviously, a lot of people that love Dixit are getting this game, but I don't think it's gonna suddenly end up in the top 100. It's kind of the same thing that's been going on for a long time, which is a solid game, but not one that's gonna appeal strongly to, I think, the core BGG audience as much. So it's number 7, Stelladixit Universe. Number 6 is Massive Darkness 2 Hellscape. So this is the latest CMON title that is being delivered to backers. I think they just had Marvel Zombies, which I gotta admit tempted me, even though I have Zombicide that I just haven't been playing. But it was Marvel Zombies, and I was like, oh man, that sounds awesome. I ended up not going for it, but I may regret it in the future. As far as Massive Darkness 2 Hellscape, I played Massive Darkness. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great, and that's kind of prevented me from wanting to pick up any of the other Massive Darkness games. I will say the miniature quality, I feel like with CMON has improved a lot, from their some of their earlier releases. This again is a dungeon crawler, and I felt like, actually, one of the comments I had when I played Massive Darkness, I felt like there wasn't enough game there for the dungeon crawler. After playing like a Gloomhaven style dungeon crawler, it's hard to go back to a more maybe a little bit more old school dungeon crawler, which is kind of what Massive Darkness felt like to me. Do I think this is going to end up in the top 100? Probably not. I don't think Massive Darkness is in there. Yeah, see, it's even 964 thematic 219. So it was a good game. I don't think Massive Darkness 2 is going to make it drastically better, but I do think the people that like Massive Darkness are going to like this game. And you can see that in having an opening rating with the deliveries at 9.62. That is extremely high. Very, very rare that you see it that high, even even a Kickstarter game from CMON. So this is number 6, Massive Darkness 2 Hellscape. Number 5 is Now or Never. So this game is Ryan Laukatt's latest game. So he had this huge hit, Sleeping Gods, which is super hard to find still. Now or Never is, from the reviews, I haven't played the game myself, but from the reviews that I've seen, is kind of a reworked Above and Below. So, and it has his same great artwork, the same, Ryan Laukatt design aesthetics in terms of the game. And I think it's going to do well, especially after Sleeping Gods, but I don't see this one hitting the top 100. I think the reviews have been a little bit more mixed. The gameplay is most people have said that it's really long, especially if you're playing over 2 players, which you can see best is 2 here. I think some of the reviewers even said you don't want to play this at 4. It's just way too long. So I think that's going to limit its climbability, the amount it's going to be able to climb. I do think it's going to be a solid game, but probably not one I'm going to personally look for. The game I'm looking for is Sleeping Gods. I think that's going to work well with my kids in the coming years. So it's Now or Never, number 5. Number 4 we've looked at before is Cora Quest. People are really liking this game. This was a Kickstarter created by a father and his daughter with, their artwork and with some unique dungeon crawly experience from what I could see, and some unique character building elements. So I do think that this is one that I want to personally check out with my kids in the future. I assume it's going to have some sort of retail release or availability. I think there was also a print and play available on the website. So maybe I'll actually do the print and play. We'll have to see. So this is number 4, Cora Quest. Number 3 is Arc Nova. So this thing is skyrocketing up the charts now that it's getting a wider range of availability. So this game was kind of available earlier this year, but it didn't have a wide enough availability. Now, the reviews have been astonishingly positive. It's even hit the number 1 game on some reviewers lists, which is insane for a game that just came out. The reviews I've read, it's kind of like Terraforming Mars with some additional mechanics and probably some refinement, which I do think Terraforming Mars might have needed. I think it's a solid game after after Prelude at least, and then maybe some expansions. From what I understand, Ark Nova is of a similar design, but maybe the next level of Terraforming Mars design. This one's definitely going to be in the top 100. I think this one is probably going to be in the top 20 or 25 by the end of this year after it gets its full release. Not based on my personal play of it, but because I haven't played this game, but based on the reviews I've seen and the reception. So that's number 3, Ark Nova. Number 2, Great Western Trail 2nd Edition. This is almost certainly heading into the top 100, possibly in the top 10, but the top 10 is really hard to get into now. This one might do it because it is the 2nd edition of a amazingly popular game. I know a lot of people are repurchasing this version to get the changes and the upgrades, even though it doesn't have the Rails to the North expansion. I personally am just going to stick with my copy of it. I don't think it had enough changes to make me want to repurchase it. And maybe I'll look for... I'm really interested in the New Zealand Great Western Trail that's coming out. I don't know if that's next year or the year after. So this is number 2, Great Western Trail 2nd Edition. And number 1 is Three Sisters. So this is a roll and write game where you're farming, and it seems to be doing a little bit pretty well for a roll and write. So I think we'll have to keep our eyes on this. To hit this list as number 1 this week with all this competition, that's quite an accomplishment for the biggest climb. I think that for my taste, I really like Welcome to. I kind of want to get Welcome to the Moon because of the positive reviews it's gotten, but I may or may not, just because I don't tend to play that many roll and writes with my group. So we'll see. So anyway, this is number 1. Again, this is the BG Climbers list for the week ending 2/9/2022. If you like this video, please like and please subscribe, and please take a look at our other videos. Thank you.